to the transformation conversation with healers, thinkers, and the doers, changing the way we live and thrive. I'm your host, Dr. Karim, and today's episode is one of those that speaks straight to the heart of what this show is all about. We're going to be talking about where the real healing comes from. And to unpack the truth, I'm honored to be joined by one and the only Dr. Eddie Weller. He's a passionate chiropractor, communicator, and transformational leader. Dr. Eddie, his mission is clear: is to get people, as he say, weller, not just symptom-free, but thriving from the inside out. Today, you're going to hear his story, his philosophy, his challenge to anyone seeking deeper healing. So, Dr. Weller, I'd like to welcome you to the show. For those who have never heard of you and our listeners, why don't we just start this journey by telling us what led you to healthcare? What was your ultimate philosophy around healing?
Yes. Well, gosh, thank you for having me. It's been interesting. I just got asked this question by a patient the other day. I just started my 12,000th patient after 28 years and 14 practices later. So it's been interesting seeing all these different kind of health issues that people suffer from. And then it hit me way back when I was junior year in high school. I started having irritable bowel. That's why I never really, when we're in high school, we don't think about health, right? We're boys, we live our life, we go play sports and do whatever. But when you start having a health issue, what I know as a doctor is that whatever patient has, they know their health condition or diagnosis better than you do because they study it. It's about them. And so I didn't know what that meant then. My mother, like any mom or didn't, the ignorance of not having internet around was going to the doctor and listening to the doctor. Why is Eddie all of a sudden junior in high school having irritable bowel, diarrhea every day pretty much? And that lasted from age 17 to 23 years old, 22-ish years old. And and my body grew into a problem. I graduated high school at a third grade reading level. I had a 10 on my ACT. Now I write collegiate books, textbooks for colleges. And so it's just been interesting how God played this role on, I'm going to show you, Eddie, what I'm capable of through your pain and through what you have. And I didn't understand that, especially as a baby Christian, in my 20, I'll be 54 next week. So it's whatever that's supposed to feel like. But again, growing into a problem, could the body grow out of a problem? Yes, but there are limits to this thing. Right. And so that's how I got involved. And I met this doctor. I grew up in Chicago. That's why this is so quick. I grew up in Chicago, moved down to Florida to be a cop. So I'm going to cop school, if you will, doing all of that criminal science and all that stuff. And I meet this girl, start dating her. And she's like, we're getting kind of serious. I want you to meet my family. Sure. So I go to the house, see her father barbecuing, but you never know when irritable bowel is going to be irritable. Well, it was irritable that day. And I walked in, saw her father. I'm like, I need a restroom right now. And so I walk on over, a little pocket door, right? Do my business. And her father comes in from barbecuing into the kitchen because the kitchen and the powder room are right there. And where's Eddie? And she's like, well, Dad, he's got irritable bowel. He's in the bathroom. It's a hollow core door. I hear it all. And so he's like, he doesn't have irritable bowel. He's got pressure on his brainstem. And I got teased as a kid because, again, graduated high school at a third grade reading level, a 10 on my ACT. That kid, I struggled in school terribly. Open a book, close a book. I don't know what I just read. And so I struggled with that because the comprehension wasn't there. I wasn't illiterate, but the comprehension wasn't there. I just like, what is wrong with me? And nobody could figure it out. So I meet this guy. He's like, you have pressure in your brainstem, Eddie. How long have you had the irritable bowel? I said, it started at 17. He goes, no. You had this a long time before then. You just didn't have any symptoms. It was your body breaking down. And then that breaking down process caused you to have some things in your colon, but also up here, because you say you struggle with school. Even in college, you're still struggling with school. Yeah, he moves a bone in my neck and transforms my life. And I was like, what is going on? Like the fog was lifted. This kink at the brainstem level changed my life. I went from C's and D's to A's and B's, 10 years of college. And I loved school for the first time, no longer living on a toilet. So all of this changed my life. I'm like, forget about being a cop. I got to do this thing. So I go to chiropractic school. In the chiropractic school, I'm thinking a lot of people work with this part of the spine. Yeah, not so much. And it's, God bless the profession I'm in, but it's an absolute train wreck. And I can go on and on with it. Right now, it's a mess, and it's getting messier because they're trying to get more allopathic medical, which has nothing to do with chiropractic at all. And most chiropractors are chiropractic aspirins. They just want to get rid of neck and back pain. I didn't have neck or back pain. I had something going on here and here, and chiropractic changed my life. So it's about function rather than fixing a condition. And so that's how I got wrapped up, and I can go down that rabbit hole, but it's transform my life, understanding the importance of what's going on, not with the spine, but rather what's inside of it.
Well, thank you for sharing. That was an amazing story. But, so we're going to dig deep here about, your story, your journey, basically. But, we hear the word healing everywhere, but it often means different things to different people. In
Yes.
your view, what does real healing actually mean?
I think oneness with whatever thing or condition that you may have. Let's just say you have a physical issue or a spiritual one or a psychological one, or how about financial one? How about emotional one? How about taking yesterday's pain into tomorrow's pleasure? Right. So we all have our own yuck, if you will. And this is where I started to coin getting weller. You're never well. There's no such thing as being well. Nobody ever is. We always have some sort of chaos, something going on with us. And if we do, then you have to manage it with the best of your ability, of what you know. And sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And when we meet people, we're like, oh my gosh, I never heard of it that way. And now we take on a new stepping stone to this next thing or next part of our journey. And so when I sit down with people, I sat down with a gentleman yesterday, and I've known him for years. And he finally decided to jump on board and come on in. I said, I have an instrument. See this? This is called a chiropractic gauge. It's infrared thermography. I wrote a textbook on it. And so when I run this instrument up your spine will pop up onto the computer screen. I'll know if your body's functioning the right way or the wrong way neurologically. And if we call it the neurologic system, neural, nerve, logic, intelligence, neural intelligence, who put the intelligence in the nerve? God did. And so if that's the case, so there's a wisdom inside the nervous system. What drugs typically do is tell the nerve to slow down or tell the nerve to speed up. I don't want to do either. I just want to restore normal nerve function so the brain can communicate properly with the body. And then the body, via the nervous system, tells the heart, the lung, the liver, the kidney, our thoughts, our emotions, our muscles, all these things to function the right way. And then we die of old age, not of a condition. So getting weller is healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy relationships. The relationship between you and the floor when you stand up, you and the mirror, you and your clothes, you and your yesterday, you and your wallet, you and your spouse, we're full of relationships. You and the plate of food. We're surrounded by relationships. And so what are you doing with that? Are you being holy in your relationship? Which is, are you inviting God to the conversation of your conflict? And most people say, I got to figure this out. I got to do this. I need this drug for this. I can't survive without that. If we seek something outside of the body for a remedy, a problem that came from the inside, we're always going to be in a battle. And so if the problem comes from the inside, so should the answer. And if the answer is in the inside, then let's take this thing called our temple and do the best we can with what we have to work with. I mean, heck, I used to have hair at one time, but such is life. And so as things happen, if you can have tooth decay, you can also have spinal decay. And nobody ever thinks about it because you can't see spinal decay. You can see tooth decay. But when chiropractors take pictures of the spine, a lot of MDs do as well. You take pictures of the spine, some of them are looking for pathology. I'm not. I'm looking for function. Why are you having spinal decay at one vertebrae or one tooth, if you will, but not all of them, or maybe a group of them, or maybe you've got a scoliosis, or maybe the nerve does the heart and the lung, the liver is compromised. And if it is, how do you know? Because again, the profession I'm in, most of them go, yeah, you're really out over here. That's not a gauge. This is a tool in which how we shift the spine. But we have a chiropractic gauge. It's called infrared thermography. And without this gauge, the chiropractor is guessing.
So why do you think so many people will feel stuck or unheard or frustrated with their healthcare experience?
I think we do it based on how we feel rather than how well we function. It's like going to the gym and you see those people when you have a mirror at the gym. The idea with the mirror at the gym is to ensure that you're doing proper form. But some people are just getting really fleshy, staring at the mirror and making it about them. Our body is only reacting to a stress, like going to the gym. If you go to the gym, they don't call them health clubs any longer because you can't get health there, right? And so isn't it interesting the word health has heal inside of it? So what do we need to heal from? And how'd you break? Why are we broken? We've been broken since the word go. Soon as we came into this world, something was wrong with us upstairs. Ego, pride, all that stuff. Or there's a generational thing where my mom had this, my dad has this, I'll probably get it. Like, stop. Spit that out. And that's one of the things when people feel stuck. I sat down with a group of realtors and they asked me to speak at an event. And I said, everybody in here, wiggle your toes. And they all wiggle your toes. I said, everybody wiggle their toes? They said, yep, awesome. So how did you do that? They're like, what do you mean? How did you wiggle your toes? They said, well, you asked me to. Ah, so you heard me. And that thought became a thing. And that thing reacted to your thoughts. Every spring I get allergies. Cold and flu season's coming. My mom has cancer. My dad has diabetes. I'll probably get it. Do you hear yourself? Listen, every time I eat that, I get sick. See, listen, I'm going to fail that test. They're never going to hire me. He'll never date me. She'll never date me. I'll never get that job. I'll never live in that house. Why do we live in such lack? That's the stuckness, if you will. And that's where the darkness plays, the enemy, if you will, plays. And we have to just stop that, where it's a righteousness thing, where you find joy with who you are and what you are, and doing the best you can with what you have right now. Because we can't tell you we should not take yesterday's pain into tomorrow's pleasure. And most of us do that. Yeah, I remember that. They didn't do that. I couldn't do that. Oh, I experienced that. Stop. I'll tell you what I'm doing tomorrow. And yesterday means nothing. That's the Christ consciousness. When Jesus would live in the moment right now, all he focused on was you right now. Are you focusing on you? I teach that to my family, to my friends, patients, everybody. You are the most important person in the world. I am the most important person in the world to me. So when I take care of me, I won't get stuck then. I won't allow me to get stuck, because if I'm stuck, I can't serve. And if I can't serve, I'm good for nobody or no thing.
So, when you work with patients, how do you begin to uncover the root cause of their issues?
Good question. I talk about the 3 T's, and there's actually a 4th one, but the 3 T's: thoughts, traumas, and toxins. So I look for which we coined them, thoughts, traumas, and toxins. What thoughts are you having? My new client paperwork, there's certain parts of that, is 14 pages long. I ask everything from the last time you prayed, last time you had sex, last time you got in a car accident, last time you got in an argument with somebody, last time you were broke, last time you lied, last time you used aluminum deodorant. I find the chemicals, how often you sit on the computer. What are you addicted to? What's your vice? So I try to find that stressor, if you will, and then eliminate that stressor by helping people make better decisions on why that thing is owning you. Maybe it's the diagnosis that's owning you. Maybe it's the pain or symptom that's owning you. Maybe it's something that you want, that you feel that you're not good enough, that's owning you. I'll find it. And if I find it, then I'm not the answer. I'm a answer, but I'm not the answer. And so when I'm a answer, something I say or the connections that I have are going to help you. I am surrounded by practitioners, coaches, counselors, doctors, and I know tons of them. And so we team up. And I think that's what's wrong with healthcare. It's so mechanistic, which is the part. There's a doctor for this part, a doctor for this part, a doctor for this part, a doctor for There's a doctor for all of the parts. Well, there is one inside of you. Because when the sperm and the egg united, the first thing that was formed was your nervous system. And then from the nervous system, everything grew. And when everything grew from there, that same intelligence that made you from nothingness, if you will, is still in you right now. So don't inhibit that. Don't allow that to be so stifled to where, yeah, I know, I'm not good enough, because it's listening. And when the body's listening to our stinking thinking, we are going to grow. It's biblical. We're going to grow into something that is not good. And because it's listening.
So, one thing that I love about your approach is how much responsibility you place back in the patient's hand. So, why is that important?
I think when we understand the Eastern and Western philosophy, the medical doctor comes on in. There's no bashing, by the way. It's just how we do stuff in the West. The doctor comes on in. So, Eddie, what brings you in today? I feel great. I'm exercising. I pray every day. I have the relationships I have. I feel phenomenal. Is there anything you can give me or any recommendation to make sure I stay this way? No. because they need a symptom. What brings you in? Oh, you have this, this, and this. It could be, it could be, it could be, it could be. You need 4 could be's in this country. Those are called differential diagnosis. And so therefore, I'm going to do tests based on those could be's. And then with those, I'm going to create a diagnosis, your ownership of title. And so I'm going to do that. That's how we have healthcare. Now, in the East, if you go see a doctor, let's say in Asia, you go see a doctor, they aren't to tell you what's wrong. They are to tell you you're growing, you're trending into X. And if they tell you that, now I'm coaching with you, teaming up with you, if you will, and we do this thing called life together. That's your doctor. Doctor by name means educator or teacher. That's all doctor means. And so we have this ranking of hierarchy in this country. No, a plumber's no better than a carpenter. They just do two different things. An acupuncturist is no better than a surgeon. They just do 2 different things. And so we have to understand, if we have the ability to find out what's going on with us, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, or even seek that, the differential is, am I going to team up with this doctor or practitioner that's going to help me be a better me? And if you don't, then you go find another one. Don't put all of your eggs in that one basket.
That's what I tell my patients too. But for someone listening who feels hopeless, exhausted, or stuck in a cycle of like appointments and prescriptions, what would you say to them?
I had a woman that shows up with me, and she goes, I hear you help people. I said, it's very relative, but okay. I said, so let's figure out what's going on. I'm just going to have a conversation with you. Here's your new patient, new client paperwork. I'll go through it in a minute. And I go to put it down. And as I go to put it down, a letter slides out underneath it, the second page. So I look at it. So I pull it out. It's different ink. I pull it on out. It's her suicide letter. And I said, okay, so see this new client paperwork? I give it a toss. We're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about this. And we're going to address this, because if you're finding yourself at the edge to where you want to go sideways and end your life, we're going to figure out why that is. And when we figure that out, maybe, just maybe, you can make a U-turn, or maybe even just a little merge to another path that makes more sense for you. Because right now, every decision that you've made has caused you to be in the state that you're in. So if you're in a state that you're in and you don't like it, maybe I can help you make some different decisions, and now you'll end up in a different state. Are you in? If you want that, great. If not, we're going to go another route, and I'm going to call somebody right now, and we're going to make sure that we're going to check you in somewhere to fix this, or we're going to address it right now. Canceled my patients that afternoon, and we sat down. I shut my doors, and she had all afternoon with me, and we figured it out. I said, how we start things in this office is we give credit to where credit's due. I need your hands. I get on my knees, and we pray. It's how I roll. And so we pray about it. We're going to pray about it right now and ask God to show up and give us the answers, give us the peace, give us the knowledge and the wisdom, what to do. Are you in? She's like, I'm in. We have an awesome prayer. I give her a hug. We have a moment. And so from there, when I see it, I'm like, you're on 11 prescriptions. That's a problem. I said, because you started with one, and that one created another, and here we are. So I'm not going to take you off medicine. That's not what I do. I'm just going to educate you. If you're taking something from the outside, there is something called a side effect, because anything outside of the body to the inside of the body, there's going to be a differential where the body says, I think this is for a headache, but I'm causing heart palpitations. So now that symptom, I need to take a drug for the heart palpitation. And this is what we're doing. And now it's affecting our brain, because when you interfere with the gut, what's made in the gut is serotonin. Serotonin affects our emotions. I work with the brainstem, controls heart, lung, colon, consciousness, bodily function. I work right here. And if I can figure out if there's a neurologic compromise here and restore function to the colon, and your colon starts to make healthy serotonin and your emotions change, your life is going to change. Are you in? Made sense to her. 3 weeks later, I get flowers sent to me. Thank you for saving my life. Those kind of things, when you can team up with somebody, when somebody cares enough, you don't make it about your wallet and you don't make it about their problem. You make it about what their potential is. And that, to me, is what a doctor should do.
That's an awesome success story. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Eddie, thanks a lot for sharing all your wisdom with us. But before we leave here, is there any last words you want to share with our audience, our listeners?
Gosh, that's always a fun one at the end, when you just kind of go, okay, but what about? But how about? But what about? I always ask everybody, no matter what you do and how you do it, do not ever on social media post a condition that you're having and tell everybody in the world, I'm suffering with this. Can I have prayer? Or do you know a doctor? Do you know this? Don't do that. And the problem is because everybody's going to see you as that. I used to be a little troublemaker growing up. I was. And got voted class clown, best dancer in high school, that kind of. So whatever. And Eddie was a goofball. And so now, like going to my high school reunion 10 years later, 20 years later, they still see Eddie. Remember when you did this? Remember when you did that? Right? These goofy things I did. If people are going to see you that way, they do the same thing with health. Hey, how's that thing going? How's your seizures going? How's the cancer going? Cancer? I haven't had cancer in 3 years. I know, but it might come back. See what I mean? Where people think that way. So don't do that. What you have to do is stop and get quiet. And get super quiet and just ask our Father, I call him Dad, ask him, where do you want me? What's going on with me? You know everything. So instead of telling God all of your yuck, why not tell your problem? Because it's so temporary. Tell your problem how big our God is and lean on him. It's not a religious thing. It's a relational thing. And when you lean on him and just say, hey, I need what you have, and work through me because I want to serve more people with the gift you've given me. Now you don't make it about you or the condition. You make it about them, and the world becomes a better place.
Well, this was one of those conversations that remind us why the Healing Wellness Show exists. Dr. Eddie, I'd like to really thank you for sharing your wisdom and reminding us that healing isn't about chasing symptoms. It's about understanding the body and restoring balance. So thank you again for joining us on the show. And if you found value in today's conversation, please share this episode with someone you love. Subscribe so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review so it can help and reach out to other people who are ready to transform their health from the inside out. You can find more episodes, resources, and upcoming guests on the Healing Wellness Show. This is the Healing Wellness Show, where we don't just talk about healing, we live it. Until next time, I'm Dr. Karim. Stay well, stay whole, and stay connected to your purpose.